Hi everybody, my name is Elena Cheung. This is my friend Tina Parrish. Today we're going to have a little chat about Tina's awesome adventures and advocacy in the great outdoors. All right, we only have one shot, so don't mess this up.
I'm gonna do that.
With 3, 2, 1. Well, that was really satisfying. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's good. How's yours?
That's good.
So while you're here with me, I just feel like it'd be such a great opportunity to pick your brain and hear about your experiences and, just kind of share your story, not just with me, but with the world and the internet. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
I'd love to start by asking you about cycling. So tell me how you got started and kind of just your whole journey with that.
So I first learned to ride a bike when I was 5, and then there was a very long gap before I really started doing biking. And I started picking up mountain biking actually the last couple years as an adult, and I've really enjoyed that. There was a lot of reasons I didn't get into it sooner. Some of it was lack of equipment, lack of knowledge, but I've been really excited to start learning some new skills, and yeah.
What else do you do in the outdoors?
Well, pretty much I love the outdoors, so I'm willing to try anything. I have actually been snowboarding for about 20 years. All my outdoor pursuits I learned as an adult. I didn't grow up doing any of this stuff, so you're never too old to learn something new. I have started to discover so many things in the outdoors that I never thought honestly were for me. So in addition to snowboarding, mountain biking, I have dabbled in climbing, both indoor and outdoor, and bouldering. Again, not great at any of this, but I still love it. And just recently, this last summer, I tried surfing for the first time here in Washington State, of all places.
Oh, wow.
And I loved it. I love it. I just love being outdoors. I love being outside in nature.
That's awesome. That's so inspiring. I love that you try all these new things. I get scared. I got to take a page out of your book. Something that I really love about you and getting to know you and the work that you do is that you're also a leader in the space. And, it seems like you're really invested in helping to grow the outdoor world community and the sense of inclusivity and diversity. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the outdoors, they just bring me so much joy, and I want people to be able to experience that joy. Several ways I'm doing this. In the past, I would just try to invite friends to participate in these activities, but I realized, it takes resources, it takes skills. One of the ways I'm doing that is I'm taking my snowboarding skills and I'm going to be instructing this season. And so I'm really excited to, be able to pass that knowledge along because it's such an important skill, and many times people don't have access to that. So I want to be able to provide that. I'm also working with Verascapes, which is focused on outdoor education and experiences. And we're really just working hard to ultimately uplift underrepresented communities, focus on those principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and just making sure everybody is heard and has a space and feels welcome in the outdoors. You can learn from the outdoors, you can experience joy in the outdoors, you can experience healing in the outdoors, but not everybody has access to that. And there's a variety of reasons why not everybody can access the outdoors in equal ways. And I've mentioned some. It could be equipment, it could be knowledge, it could be just, being able to physically get to a location. I can't imagine, when I'm in the outdoors and if I'm on the mountaintop and I'm in the snow and it's calming and it brings me such peace. And I know not everybody gets to experience that in their lives. And some of those reasons they can't access it are things that I can help with, that I can get them out there. So it's a very meaningful and transformative experience being in the outdoors. And it is something I want to pass along to others and share with others.
What do you wish you had known or maybe had access to when you first started your foray into the outdoors?
I think what I wish I had the most was someone who looked like me. You've heard that hashtag representation matters, but it 100%, actually 1,000% matters, because it is so hard to see yourself doing something or being in a space when you're absent. And I am so happy to see more women of color, more Black women in these spaces. I hope to be a role model in that and be a mentor or whatever role I can play to help Black and brown women and girls get into the outdoors, know that that space is for them, know that that space is going to be welcoming and they feel safe. So yeah, I really, really wish I had had that when I first got into these outdoor spaces. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like it can be such an invasive and like pervasive barrier to going outside again. And it's so hard, at least for me, it was really hard for me to put my finger on why I didn't feel included for so long, like until a lot of these topics really came to the surface in the forefront. But it's something that can be really insidious, right? And like stop you from going outside.
It absolutely can be. And it only takes one time oftentimes. And that can just, you know, change your perspective of not ever wanting to do things in the outdoors, which it makes me very sad that I know people have had that experience.
So I've heard this in the climbing community. I'd be curious to hear your perspective on this thought that sometimes people will say like, well, we're just here to climb. We're just here to enjoy the outdoors. We're just here to ski or do yoga or whatever. Why do we have to talk about race and diversity? Can't we just do XYZ sport? How do you feel about that?
Well, so I think it's very easy to not have to think about those things when you see yourself represented in everything. It absolutely doesn't come across your mind, but I think for people like me, like you, underrepresented people of color, we can't not think about it. It's always there. And I think it's so important to be able to start to understand and view things from a different perspective and view things through a different lens in order to make that space feel welcoming. Because if you can't see through that lens, you aren't even going to be aware that that space does not feel welcoming. In many cases, doesn't feel safe for some people. So you can't separate the two. You can't separate the two. Wherever you have people, you're going to have to deal with that. It's not just, if it was just the outdoors, sure, we wouldn't have to worry about it, but it's not. It involves people, so we have to be aware of that. It's one of the reasons I'm channeling a lot of my energy into Veriscapes. So, you know, people ask, well, how is it different? How are you guys going to do things different? And everything is at our core. We're centering everything, our programs, our experiences, through a lens of diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice. It is principal to everything we do, and we work from that lens out. And I think it shows in whether it's workshops or programs, it feels different. It also feels very intentional. We want to make sure everybody has a voice and is heard, and that's how you improve, that's how you learn, and make things better. And one of the things I love about Veriscapes is, in addition to offering affinity spaces and affinity programs, we also believe in the importance of mixed identities and bringing different groups together. Because speaking personally as a woman of color, I can only do so much by myself. We need help. I need help. And we want to bring people together who have the same values and are aligned in the same way so that we can uplift every group up.
For people who are not a part of an underrepresented community, how can they help to make the outdoors safer and more welcoming for everybody?
I think it has to start with a willingness and a desire to learn. And I think asking questions can be great, especially, you know, to underrepresented groups, but understand that that comes at a price for a lot of underrepresented groups. It does require emotional labor. Not everyone is going to be willing to do that. So it's also important to do the work yourself, to do the work, whether that's Google search, whether that's reading some books, getting a foundation, starting to see through that lens, and starting there. I'm one of those people who I don't mind doing the emotional labor. It's hard. I will give feedback, but not every person is like that, and that has to be respected as well. So
I think that's a really important thing to remember, is that not everybody is your personal
Wikipedia.
Yeah, totally. And that's a lot of emotional labor for you to take on as well. But I think I understand like kind of where you're coming from. I think I feel similarly for myself. Yes. How do underrepresented people who see what you do, like all this awesome mountain biking and snowboarding and all of this, how can they get started if they're curious?
Encourage people to view the outdoors as a spectrum. It doesn't have to be the extreme end. It could be as simple as walking in the park. All that means is you're not indoors, and it can gradually progress from there. And I think a lot of times, I know I did this personally, I felt like I had to be to a certain technical level, or I had to have these skills. And as long as you're having fun and you're enjoying yourselves, That's all you need. That's all you need, and a desire. So, yeah.
That's a great point. Like, it's really easy to think, I'm not a climber unless I climb this hard, or I'm not a yogi unless I can do a handstand, or like whatever the equivalents are for your sports. But I think you've touched on a great point, which is just, it's just doing it.
Just doing it and enjoying what you're doing. And I've definitely, as I get older, I'm like, okay, I don't have to be the best, because I can be just okay and still enjoy something. And it's great. I still love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would also add, obviously, technical skills can be important to a certain level.
Right.
And the great thing is there are so many online webinars now for just 101, mountain biking 101, snowshoeing 101, and they will teach you, the internet is, like I said, the internet can be a great place as well for that. You can find a lot of information. YouTube is wonderful.
That's right.
Just to kind of like, if you want to go to YouTube and then you're like, maybe I'll reach out and try it, but you can learn actually a lot of things there, just like fundamentals, techniques, safety. So safety first, always.
Safety first.
Because outdoors, things can happen.
It's unpredictable.
It's unpredictable. And then just baby steps. It doesn't have to be these huge, I must get from here to here. It can be here to this little step to this step. And then another really important thing about recreating in the outdoors is we want to have fun, but we want to be responsible when we recreate, because we want to take care of the outdoors so that we can continue to do this, take care of the land. That's another aspect to really keep in mind. With She Jumps, actually, one of the partners we work with has an account called the 11th Essential. So 10 essentials are the things you would take for safety, whether you're going on a hike. And the 11th essential is to take a trash bag to pick up litter. And I try to remember that. So every time I go, I'm like, I got to bring my trash bag, take care of this planet, take care of this earth. I have kiddos. I want them to be able to enjoy this the same way that I do. Well, I have to say, one of the great things about social media, with all its downsides, it's a great way to connect with communities. And there are so many communities out there and groups, from BIPOC to LGBTQ to people with different abilities. And there are a lot of outdoor groups out there. So that is a wonderful place to start. You got your girl right here. I can connect you with lots of communities. But find your community and have grace with yourself. Have grace with yourself and have fun. And I did not make this statement. My friend Mike told me about it, but it rang so true to me. When you like something, you take care of it. When you love something, you share it. That makes me get emotional, because it is something like I want to share that with people. I love it. I want everybody to experience it.
Oh my God, you're making me tear up. That was really beautiful.
It rings so true for why I'm doing this.
Thank you so much for joining us. And Tina, thank you so much for being here. We've got some great resources from Tina in the description box below. If you liked this video, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you again real soon. What? That was like the most overdramatic gulp ever.